From Arkansas's streaming news leader, this is THV 11 Morning News at 6.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us on THV 11, streaming on THV 11 Plus. I'm Karen Fuller.
I'm Hayden Balgavy. It is 6 o'clock on your Thursday morning. Let's send it over to meteorologist Tracy Bean, tracking the forecast, and Ashley King now in the house. You guys matching again?
We are.
It
happened
again.
Too.
If
The
we
dynamic duo.
No, yesterday I think we were actually kind of matching as well with your
the colors.
Yeah,
of
with my
dress.
shirt, with the shirty
Yeah.
dress, and then I was wearing a shirt that had that in there. We just same brain.
Do you think they call each other?
No, we don't. We really don't. Get ready on opposite ends and opposite hours as well.
Right.
So, all right. Well, it's always a little fun. At least you know we're in sync. So let's go
I was
ahead.
going to say Backstreet Boys. But
Felt like a blacktop kind of day.
Yeah.
Black and blue, Backstreet Boys. No,
Yeah,
I'm a child
that
of the
was good
90s.
too.
Okay,
That
I
was
was
good
more of
too.
an NSYNC person, but
Yeah.
for shame.
I know. Maybe it's our age. I don't know.
well, yeah,
One
we're
Direction.
going way back. We're more New Kids.
Yeah, I
on
was
the
gonna
I
Block.
was
we're
going to
more
say, you're
new
new
kids.
kids on the block. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
a Donnie Wahlberg.
NSYNC was
Because you know what? We've got the right
Later.
stuff.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
You have to go out on that. That was
Okay,
good.
so let's talk about some weather. We do have a few rain showers still in the state. Northern Arkansas being the most impactful there. Not looking at anything severe this morning, which is great news, but Melbourne, there we go, and Hardy, Walnut Ridge, all getting a good soaking this morning. And now in southern Arkansas, we're watching these showers that are making their way up Interstate 30. They're dissipating as they're making their way into Little Rock, which is what happened yesterday. It's why we didn't get a lot of rain here. That boundary was there. And in central Arkansas right now, a little bit of fog, right around 7 miles. So not anything to really slow down your day. Temperature wise, it is muggy out there. It is 67 in the capital city. We're seeing those temperatures rise today to the upper 70s and 80s across the state. Keeping things cool to the north with all that rain they got yesterday. It cooled the atmosphere a little bit. We could see a few scattered showers today and storms, but not expecting anything severe. And tomorrow, most of the day is going to be a bit sunny. There's a few clouds and looking for that high in the low 80s and even mid 80s down to our south. Now there are going to be some storms moving in late. So your Friday should be fine, but we're going to talk about severe weather, and we're also going to talk about some heavy rain as we're heading into Saturday. We'll get a little break on Sunday, but then we're going to start this whole process over again early next week with a few storms and a lot of rain. So that is good news for our drought conditions. Ashley, I know you've been dealing with a little bit of traffic issues this morning there in Lonoke County, so go ahead and tell us about it.
Yeah, Tracy, we have issued a traffic impact alert because of what's happening here in Lonoke County. Pulling this up right now, as you can see, they're kind of moving the camera around just a little bit, but there's actually two accidents. One is a secondary accident that was caused from the backup around mile marker 165. So I-40 eastbound near mile marker 163. It's about 2 miles east of North Little Rock. The left and the left shoulder are blocked, but this is a actually two tractor trailer collision. And then we have that secondary accident, like I said, around mile marker 165, and that's leaking diesel fuel and an oil leak. So it's going to take some time for this to clear. I can show you where these accidents are located. Again, it's blocking I-40 eastbound around Kerr Road, exit 165. So just be aware that you may want to take an alternate route to try to get around this because it is slowing things down in that area. We'll check again coming up.
This morning, pressure is mounting in the Middle East. Iran now warning the U.S. will, quote, bitterly regret sinking one of its warships.
The U.S. says it's accelerating strikes while Iran continues to retaliate. Now, civilians in neighboring countries say they're getting caught in the middle. Iran is also denying claims it targeted a NATO ally in the region.
CBS News correspondent Jared Hill breaks down the newest developments.
Plumes of smoke above Tehran as the U.S. and Israel continue devastating airstrikes on Iran. In Tel Aviv, sirens and explosions blared. Israel says its defense forces intercepted a new wave of Iranian missiles. The fallout from the fighting is spreading throughout the Middle East. This man says they pay the price for something they didn't do after a downed Iranian drone shattered homes in his neighborhood in Iraq, just west of Iran. Yesterday, Turkey, a NATO nation, said that NATO had destroyed an Iranian missile headed for its airspace, though Iran denies firing missiles at Turkey.
We're doing very well on the war front, to put it mildly.
In Washington, President Trump projected optimism after the Pentagon said its war on Iran is accelerating.
We will now begin to expand inland striking progressively deeper into Iranian territory.
The Defense Department also released this footage of the U.S. submarine torpedo strike that sank an Iranian warship near Sri Lanka, killing dozens.
We are punching them while they're down.
Iran called the sinking an atrocity and warns the U.S. will bitterly regret it.
The motion to discharge is not approved.
Wednesday, the Senate rejected a war powers resolution that would have required the Trump administration to get congressional approval to continue military operations in Iran.
This widening war, I fear, puts us on the precipice of American troops on the ground.
A similar bill in the House is also projected to face an uphill battle. Jared Hill, CBS News.
A North Carolina man is facing charges after disrupting a Senate Armed Services Subcommittee hearing on Wednesday to protest the war in Iran. Cell phone video shows 44-year-old Brian McGinnis, a Green Party Senate candidate, shouting, "No one wants to fight for Israel," as officers pull him out. He was wearing a Marine Corps uniform, and his campaign website identifies him as a Marine veteran. Capitol Police say McGinnis and 3 officers were injured in this incident. He is now facing charges of assault on a police officer and resisting arrest. Protests are not allowed inside congressional buildings. We have continuing coverage this morning of a high-profile race in Lonoke County. The man who won the Republican primary for sheriff is also facing a second-degree murder charge.
His nomination is raising questions about what could happen before the November election. THV 11's Tamer Knight joins us now with what city leaders have to say in the case of Aaron Spencer. Good morning, Tamer.
Well, good morning, Karen and Hayden. As officials wait for the legal process to play out, county leaders have confirmed Aaron Spencer is the official nominee for the county sheriff for the November election. Aaron Spencer won the Republican primary Tuesday night with more than 50% of the more than 10,000 casted votes, defeating incumbent Sheriff John Staley and law enforcement veteran David Buford. Spencer gained national attention after he shot and killed a man accused of raping his underage daughter. According to reports, Spencer confronted the man after he allegedly took the girl a second time while out on bond. If he wins in November, takes office, and then gets convicted, officials say the process is pretty simple.
If he is convicted and has to be removed from office after the general election, the quorum court would then appoint his replacement to fill the rest of that term.
Now, it's equally simple if he's not guilty. He can become sheriff like anyone else. The bigger question is what happens if a conviction comes before November? State election guidelines allows parties to replace candidates who withdraw or die, but they don't specifically address felony convictions. Now, Spencer attorney says they expect his murder trial to be completed by the end of summer, possibly before voters head to the polls in November. Reporting for THV 11 News, I'm Tamer Knight.
Tamer, thank you. The majority of Tuesday's election results will formally take shape in November or even January of next year. But 2 special elections will affect the upcoming fiscal session happening in a few weeks at the Capitol. Ahead of that session, Governor Sanders is rolling out her proposed budget to lawmakers now. It includes an average 3% spending increase over this year, nearly $200 million more for education freedom accounts created under the LEARNS Act, and more than $50 million in raises for corrections officers and state troopers. You can see her full letter showing additional priorities anytime on THV11.com.
Arkansas trucking leaders are responding to a federal crackdown targeting commercial driver's license training programs. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announcing last month that 557 CDL schools nationwide violated federal safety standards, including many here in Arkansas. Federal officials cite issues like unqualified instructors, improper vehicles, and incomplete records. The trucking industry employs 1 in 11 Arkansans and moves 80% of the state's freight. Shannon Newton, president of the Arkansas Trucking Association, says while the industry needs a strong workforce, standards cannot slip.
From our perspective, it's actually a good sign that there is some guardrails in place, that the regulators are checking up and making sure that those who have identified themselves as certified training providers are in fact checking the boxes and doing the things that they're supposed to be doing.
Leaders say the enforcement effort shows regulators are monitoring compliance and maintaining safety standards. They add they don't expect it to significantly disrupt Arkansas's pipeline of commercial drivers.
Now let's check in with meteorologist Tracy Bean with the forecast to help you plan your Thursday.
Not too bad of a Thursday. It's a little muggy out there this morning. We are starting out with overcast skies and some southerly breeze, and that's going to warm us up quite nicely today. Those winds will be anywhere from 10 to 15, gusting around 20 to 25, and a high close to 80 degrees. We are going to see a few scattered showers and storms today, but most of that rain has already moved out. We are going to see temperatures rise as we're heading into Friday. We will see a little bit more sunshine. It's going to be very, very breezy, gusting around 30, maybe even 40 in northern portions of the state. And again, that high in the low 80s could break some records. But those rain chances, they are sticking around as we are heading into Saturday. Bulk of that rain there. And then as we're heading into next week, Wednesday, we're going to talk more again about severe weather. And as we are talking about the potential for some flooding. So lots to talk about weather-wise, but by next weekend, things should feel much, much better out there and calm down a little bit. All right, Ashley, how's that traffic this morning?
Tracy, we're still watching this traffic impact alert. What's happening in Lonoke County? This is on Interstate 40, and there are actually 2 accidents that are back to back. We can still see with the headlights, even though it's not a very clear view, still dark out, but we can see that it's moving very slowly. 2 tractor trailers involved with this accident. Getting a closer look at what's going on with our live traffic map, we can zoom in there, and you can see that this is blocking the right lane here with this accident. It's near exit 165 on 40 eastbound. So just be aware that that is definitely slowing things down involving those 2 tractor trailers. And then there's a secondary accident that happened near mile marker 163, about 2 miles east of North Little Rock. And that is an accident that was caused because of that backup there. And it's leaking diesel fuel and there's an oil leak. So that's going to take some time to actually clear that. And then we're also seeing another accident on Interstate 430 northbound. This is near exit 9, blocking the left lane and the left shoulder. So a couple of accidents to start off our morning. And that's all we're seeing right now. It's not really slow in those main areas like North Terminal Interchange or 30 eastbound just yet, but definitely have some slowdowns with these accidents. We'll check it again coming up.